Nobody lied to us. They just handed us someone else's design and told us to build our lives from it. And so we did, and here we are. This is You Know This Isn't It. I'm Lisa Wilson, and this is where we start. Here's something the online business world doesn't talk about. There's an entire ecosystem built around keeping you dependent on other people's expertise, and it's not always malicious. Sometimes it's just the way the industry is structured, but sometimes it is exactly what it looks like, and the sooner you understand how it works, the better equipped you are to build something that's actually yours. I know this because I lived it, and I'm going to tell you exactly what happened so you don't have to learn it the same way I did. When I sold my brick and mortar business in Aspen, Colorado, I was ready. 20 years I had built that business. It worked, it paid the bills, and I walked away from it because it just stopped fitting. Sold it for full price, closed in 2 weeks, and I thought, okay, now I get to build something that's actually mine. I wasn't naive about business. I'd run one successfully for 2 decades. I understood people. I understood how to create value. I had spent years getting certified in coaching, human design, astrology, NLP, hypnotherapy, breath work. I knew what I wanted to build, and for the first time I had the financial resources to build it properly. So I did what any serious entrepreneur does. I hired the best people I could find. And I mean genuinely the best. These weren't random freelancers. These were people at the top of the online business world, working with Hay House authors, building platforms for people with massive audiences. I hired a PR person, a full tech team. It was a professional operation. I brought them my vision, my message, my years of expertise, and I trusted them to help me build it. You know, what nobody tells you when you walk into that situation is this. The online business world has a fundamental design flaw. It rewards the people who control your infrastructure more than it rewards you. And when you don't yet understand your own business from the inside out, you cannot see when that power imbalance is actually being used against you. I launched a speaker series called Radically Authentic You. It was genuinely powerful. My message was clear. My gift was real. People responded. And I thought, okay, this is the beginning. But while I was showing up and doing the work, something else was happening that I couldn't actually see. One person on my team was actually building a program using my messaging, not just inspired by it, my messaging, the exact language I had brought to our sessions, my framing, my positioning, appearing in their own marketing while they were billing me to build mine. My tech team was billing me for hours they weren't working, and because I was new to this space, because I didn't know what to look for or what questions to ask, I couldn't see it clearly enough to name it. You know, the tech world was hard for me to really wrap my head around. I had to learn the whole back end of my tech business, and at that time, I didn't understand how it worked. I launched my second speaker series and made nothing. When I shut down everything after COVID hit in 2020, the full picture came into focus. My domain had been blacklisted. My email list had been filled with fake addresses. The back end of my website had been corrupted. Everything I built, everything I paid for, had been systemically dismantled by the people I had trusted to build it. You know, I say that here because when I shared this story with other people, surprisingly enough, I can't begin to tell you how many people said, "Oh yeah, that happened to me too." It was truly shocking. It took me over a year to clean it up and more than $100,000 gone. Now here's what I want you to understand about that story, because this is the part that actually matters the most. I didn't make those decisions because I was inexperienced or careless or naive. I made them because I was following the exact model the online business industry teaches. Find the experts, hire the professionals, trust the people who have done it before. Outsource what you don't know. That's the formula. and I followed it properly. The problem isn't the people you hire, though yes, there are people in this industry who will take everything you bring to the table and use it for themselves. That's real, and you need to know that that does exist. And it exists more often than you actually would realize. The deeper problem is that the formula itself keeps you building from the outside in. It keeps you dependent on other people's judgment about your own business. And when you don't fully own your direction, when you haven't built the knowledge foundation from the inside out, you're always one bad hire away from starting the whole thing over. You have to understand your own business before you hand any part of it to anyone else. Every piece of it, the tech, the strategy, the messaging, the infrastructure, how it works, why it works, what it's supposed to do, not because you have to do it all yourself, you don't, but because you cannot lead what you don't understand. And the moment you stop leading your own business, someone else starts leading it for you. The second thing I learned is bigger than that experience, and it's the reason that this whole podcast exists. Most entrepreneurs are building from someone else's blueprint, not just the wrong team's blueprint or the wrong mentor's blueprint, the entire industry's blueprint. Get visible, build an audience, follow the formula, copy what worked for someone else, and when it doesn't work, when it feels like pushing through concrete every single day, when the results don't come no matter how hard you try, the industry tells you the problem is in your mindset, your consistency, your discipline. It's not. The problem is that you're running someone else's design through your system and wondering why it keeps crashing. That's what this podcast is all about. Every week we're going to pull back the curtain on the things that the online business world doesn't say out loud. The real reasons smart, capable, genuinely talented entrepreneurs stay stuck despite doing everything right. And what it actually looks like to build from your own design instead of someone else's. Because the entrepreneurs who figure this out don't just build better businesses. They actually build businesses that fit their life, their energy, the way they're wired to create, lead, and grow. And honestly, that changes everything. If this episode has landed for you, I want you to take one next step. I have a free 5-minute reset on my website called This Isn't It, and You Know It. It's the starting point, a way to get honest about where you are right now, and it's what's actually going on underneath the surface. I'll see you next week for the next episode, Why Following the Formula is Keeping You Broke. Because if today was about what happened, next week is about why it keeps happening to everyone. I'm your host, Lisa Wilson, and you know when it isn't it. Bye for now. You know when your life no longer fits you. Most people spend years trying to outrun that feeling. You didn't find this show by accident. Every episode of You Know This Isn't It unpacks the survival strategies keeping us stuck in lives that stopped feeling like ours a long time ago. Head to radicallyauthenticyou.com and get the free guide, This Isn't It, and You Know It. I'm Lisa Wilson. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.